Hi everyone, this is Irina Yadgarova. I am an elder and estate planning attorney, and this is my very good friend Aleksandr Babadzhanov. He deals with the world of Medicare, and this is so important for many of our clients. We certainly overlap often in our representation as Aleksandr handles the Medicare world. So today I just wanted to go over some basic questions that would help a lot of you viewers in your understanding of Medicare. So Aleksandr, who can you just tell us like basics? Who should be applying for Medicare, around what age, and when? When should a person start thinking about or apply for Medicare?
So generally when you turn 65, right, and that's when you're eligible for Medicare Part A and Part B. People are been on disability for more than 2 years, they're going to get Medicare as well automatically.
Right.
And there's some people that work past 65 and they are eligible for Medicare but choose to opt out of Medicare Part B because they don't need it because they have employer health coverage.
Employer health coverage. And just to clarify, Part A is what covers the hospital.
That's correct.
And yes. Part B covers going to the physicians, is the doctor coverage, going
yes.
to doctors. And that is what is tied to the premium. So there's a monthly cost for Medicare enrollees typically,
yes.
right?
So this is actually very important because in 2021, everybody that had Medicare Part A and Part B, so if you worked in this country for more than 10 years, Medicare Part B is free. Part A is free. And Medicare Part B has a premium. The premium for 2021 was $148.50, and for 2022, it's $170.10, and that's the minimum, and it depends on your income.
Right, it can certainly be higher. Those
yes.
are just the minimums. Yes. So it went from 148 to 170.
Yes, and a lot of people are shocked to see that because they get it deducted from their Social Security or they get a letter in the mail, so they're shocked to see that cost go up that high. It's a lot of money.
And that's just the Part B premiums. There's yes. also deductibles.
Yes.
So go ahead.
So with regards to Medicare Part B, if you have original Medicare Part B, there's deductibles. Medicare Part B has $33 deductible, and then a 20% co-insurance after that.
Wow.
So you have to meet that deductible at the beginning of the year. If you have original Medicare and you're not in a Medicare Advantage plan or a Supplemental Plan, for example.
And this is what Aleksandr is so wonderful at. He helps clients that come to him for help with Medicare figure out, does it make sense to enroll with original Medicare or pick a plan? Do you want to mention a little bit about plan options or?
Yes, I mean, when a lot of people call me when they're just starting Medicare because the costs are, their costs are high. They want to mitigate those costs as much as possible, and they want to pick an insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get a Medicare Part D plan, no matter what. If you don't have employer health coverage, obviously.
Part B, right? Mm-hmm.
Part D.
Oh, Part D is the
prescription
coverage.
So you get Medicare Part A and Part B, and Medicare Part D.
Yeah.
You have to get that from a private insurance company.
But Part D is mandatory? I didn't know that it was.
It's mandatory.
Oh, okay.
Unless you have employer health coverage or something like that.
Okay.
So you have to get a Medicare Part D plan.
Mm-hmm.
You also, if you want to, you could also choose a Medicare Advantage plan, which is Part C. It includes everything together. You could do that with an insurance company. And typically there's an HMO plans or PPO plans where for the HMO plans, you have to go to that network of doctors with that insurance company.
Right.
And, there's majority of those plans are zero premium plans, and that's what people like. That's what they call, to see which one would be better for them. We sit down, we discuss their doctors, their prescriptions, their health concerns, and we see which plan fits them perfect.
Right, so you custom tailor it for everybody has their own approach,
yes.
which plan option would make sense for them.
Yes.
It's interesting that you mentioned Part D because Aleksandr and I were having a conversation earlier about there's often times where people have very high medical costs. As we all know, Medicare doesn't cover everything, right? That's why a lot of my clients need Medicaid planning. And one of the things that just triggered was the Part D, because even though you have the Part D coverage, there's a lot of very expensive prescription drugs out there. So even though it's like some supplemental help, there's a lot of out-of-pocket costs for the individual oftentimes. That's one of the areas that I'm actually very helpful in for those who need Medicaid planning because of the either home care costs, because Medicare is only for rehabilitation and acute care. But Medicaid is different in that it's a needs-based program. So the program looks for assets and income criteria, and I help with that. So Alex is an incredible resource for so many of my clients who have a ton of Medicare related questions. It's such a nuanced program. There's so many rules, and he really understands these plans. So I urge anybody with any Medicare related questions and needs to reach out to Aleksandr, and we'll post both of our contact information.
Yes. Just one thing, we just finished open enrollment, which was from October 15th to December 7th. That's for people that wanted to switch their plan or pick a new plan for January 1st. So if you made a decision to switch your plan and if you are not happy with that plan in next year, there is another open enrollment that's from January 1st to March 31st, that people who chose a Medicare Advantage plan, they could still opt out of that plan and choose another. So just because you made a plan, made a choice with that plan, you could still decide to switch it or see other options if you're not happy with that plan. So if you have any questions, you could always give me a call.
That's really good to know. And aside from the open enrollment, there's other periods, right, where people can apply. So let's say you're 65 or over 65, you continued working and you had employer coverage, so you didn't need to, pay for the Part B premiums and apply for Medicare. So if you're working beyond that point, you can apply without what's called a Part B premium penalty associated.
Yes. So that's a good point. So if you're employed and if you have Medicare medical coverage through your employer, and you're deciding to retire and that employer coverage will end, I would advise you to call Social Security and apply for Medicare Part B, and they're going to ask you for proof that you had medical coverage throughout that time that you were supposed to be on Medicare Part B. You're going to have to prove it to them that you did have that medical coverage, and they'll give you Medicare Part B, and you won't be penalized for not having Medicare Part B when you need it.
Right, and the penalty is that there would be a higher premium associated
Every
if
month,
you weren't. Yeah. Right. So this is very interesting, and would you advise them to go on Social Security and apply, like you said, or is it always better that they reach out directly to you, or like in what instances should they just apply online first? Is there any?
So a lot of my clients, they usually call me to guide them through the process to apply. You could obviously go to My Social Security, open up an account, call Social Security so that you could have that interview where you could explain to them why you want that Medicare Part B now as opposed to when you were supposed to get it when you turn 65. You could always give me a call. I could guide you through that process.
And I believe you do all of that amazing, very helpful guidance free of charge, right?
Yes,
that's
there's no
a
charge.
very important bit of information.
Yes.
Okay. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we will try to make
more videos.
Right, we have so much information for the aging population in New York. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We hope to hear from you guys.
Thank you guys.
Bye.